into another entertaining duel. It's delivering Haaland, 3-3. He was always going to win that one. Into the penalty area he goes, Oscar Bob, Haaland scores! Hamilton gets beyond the last defender, clips in a dangerous ball, and City equalise through McAtee.
Welcome to PitchSide Live ahead of our big pre-season game against Barcelona. The team have now arrived in Orlando, of course, the home of Disneyland. You might have seen some pictures today of various legends and players enjoying their time at Disneyland. Well, joining me today, our very own Mickey Mouse and Bugs Bunny, and you can decide yourselves, gents, which one is which. It's Big Steve and Michael Brown. How are you both?
Well, good, thank you.
Well.
You?
Yes, I'm good. Lovely to see you both.
What about you? What character would you be?
Oh, I'd be some sort of princess.
What?
Yes.
Teed you up nicely.
Thank you very much. One of those new hardcore ones, though, that fights and, you know, strong, independent woman type.
No, I can't doubt it. I'm not even going to argue, are you? No chance whatsoever.
Thank you.
It's a nice place, isn't it, to go and play football?
Oh, tell me about it. I saw some of the pictures of Joleon and Shaun Wright-Phillips today enjoying the rides as well. So
why not? You've got to go and try them, haven't you? A few of the players have had a go as well, haven't they?
Do you think the players are allowed on the roller coasters, or is that a silly question?
They've had a little bit of a go, haven't they?
Have they?
A few little bits.
Yeah.
I don't think you want to go on too much. I went pre-season in Sweden. I went on roller coasters. It done me for 2 or 3 days, so the game's very, very quickly. So I think there'll be a bit of cautious mentality of what they can do. But why not? You've got to go and try when in Florida.
When in Florida, you're right. Yes, you're right. How were you, Steve? Did you stay up? Did you manage to stay up for the last game?
Yeah, stayed up, watched it, enjoyed it. Getting used to it now, these late nights.
I know, and we've got another 2 to go.
Exactly.
Another 2 to go as well. So we will be bringing you the live press conference this evening. We are expecting Jack Grealish, and then, of course, we will have Pep Guardiola. And as you all know by now, there's been some incredible quotes in all of the press conferences, or both the press conferences that we've had so far. So very much looking forward to that. And then, of course, we'll be showing you some of the live training sessions that will be happening out now in Orlando. So the 2 games in, 2 defeats. I just keep telling people that have not stayed up to watch the games, don't panic. All is well, because we're getting some really good standout performances from some of the breakthrough and younger players. So for me, I think so far it's fair to say, Brownie, that it's Oscar Bob's pre-season.
He's done well, hasn't he? I think he's growing in confidence with the manager. I think he's getting better and better. He's so relaxed with the squad now. I think he's got a wonderful mentality. He wants to play, wants to attack. He's somebody, for me, when he gets the ball, he wants to make something happen. He's got that bravery. Yeah. He's got that ability. He goes either way. Good awareness there with his head up, finding the passes. And it's just a more relaxed situation. And what these games are giving us, yes, there's some, like, when you look at the result, you say, oh, well, we've lost again, and that's what it is. It's not important. It's about the development of these young players in particular. The squad is really young because of the Euros and players missing at this moment in time. But what it's allowing is that squad to develop, to get better and better. When needed, these players right throughout the season are now getting a nice taste for it, and it's fantastic to see. So it's not just Oscar Bob, we've seen it all the way around, a young back four, different tests, whether it's aerial, whether it's stopping crosses, whether it's, you know, whatever, to take the ball, to be brave, to step in. So it's been really good. I think it's been a good test, and we always find 1 or 2 players, don't we, from these situations. Pep likes to do it, likes to develop, and so important. The City fans want to see these youngsters, don't they?
Yeah, 100%. And like you say, it's great to see a young side out there, and the experience them lads are getting is unbelievable. And we said it on the first show, there's going to be players that stand out. And I think Oscar's been brilliant, and like Brownie said there, he's always on the front foot, he's always looking to do something. And Micah Hamilton as well, he came on, and it was so refreshing to see him go to the byline, get the cross in, you know what I mean? And in a normal Premier League game, we've got one of the best number 9s in the world in the middle. And but McAtee's come back, obviously after what Pep said about him in the press conference, being he was looking forward to see him. We're seeing the goal now. His confidence is going to be high, but people don't need to panic. It's a workout all around. We come out of this pre-season with no injuries.
That's that positive run that you were talking about there, wasn't
exactly
it? Because
it, yeah.
as well, is for so long we've seen Pep Guardiola
cut back
of the cut back and drive inside. So a young player gets his opportunities thinking, I don't know if I want to push it there, because if I don't get any joy, managers say, well, you could have come away, you could have circulated, they come back.
Yeah.
He tries it and gets the rewards, doesn't he? But McAtee, brilliant player, wonderful talent. It was nice for him. He will be really interesting what happened with him this season as well. Not just Oscar Bob. I think all around, I think he's had his development, hasn't he, now, in the Premier League, Championship, etc. So, you know, youngsters who are really going to push or really can come on. I think in City's team, McAtee will be really, really good because of the possession you have.
Yes.
It'll suit him, he'll just find a little hole. So I'm hoping he can get some minutes also.
Yeah, I said that before the AC Milan game, that I was really looking forward to seeing him, because of course we know he's had 2 seasons out on loan now at Sheffield United, 2 very contrasting seasons, 2 seasons where he's learnt so much as well. And when Pep said in his press conference that he, you know, was hoping that he's someone that's going to come through, I thought this is his chance. This is the
one. And I went into Sheffield United actually, and I sat with Chris Wilder, the manager, as things weren't going, and we were discussing how he plays and what he brings, and obviously the side of the game when you haven't got the ball. Yeah. Pep Guardiola demands that that's what you have to do better, and it'll be a real learning curve. So not only have you got to do that side of it, you're in a team that is struggling. Yeah. That also mentally it's tough. So he'll have learnt a lot, and I think it'll be a really good development for him. But he's got a special talent. Not many can take the ball. Do you know, there's a few who can in little areas and got something different. He's got that.
I loved the 2 goals the other night, which is why I keep telling people not to panic. Obviously, the first goal described as made in Norway. Obviously, you had Oscar Bob to Erling Haaland, and then the second goal made in the academy, Michael Hamilton to James McAtee. So I think as a fan, it was brilliant to watch. There was things going on.
You've had a location for us, not just, you know, the academy. You've not got an area?
Well, I don't know where James McAtee was born. Do you, Big Steve? I think Michael Hamilton's a Withenshaw boy.
Manchester boy.
Yeah, he's Manchester boy.
Yeah. OK, I'm going to search in the press comments and find out where James McAtee was born. Is that OK?
Made in Manchester.
Was James McAtee born in Manchester?
I'm sure he's around that way. Is he not?
I'm totally not sure.
We're going to find out. We're going to find out, because, yes, I would like that. Made in... Or why don't we bring it down to a postcode as well? Like, made in M14.
Listen, it's nice that there's a combination for the young players getting this coverage, isn't it? We can see Bob into Haaland. That was a classic. But... you know, Hamilton come on in the second half. He was really good. Lots of other players as well stepped up. And it's a tough game to go and play. Look at the opposition that you're up against. I think that's sort of been sort of just left aside. But they've got a new manager that were trying to impress as well. So I think it was a really, really good and interesting game.
So James McAtee was born in Salford. Michael Hamilton was born in Withenshaw. So
made in Manchester.
Are we calling it Manchester now because we don't like it when we're talking to them across the road? Yeah. Made in Greater Manchester.
Yeah, we'll say that.
We'll take that. There was other things going on as well off the pitch that I enjoyed the other day as well. We might get to talk to them about them a little bit later on. You might have seen the pictures. Jack Grealish got to meet Rihanna. Hugely jealous. Absolutely loved that. And talking of Jack Grealish, we are going to go over live now to Orlando, where Jack is doing tonight's press conference.
Yeah, no, obviously, really happy to be back. Probably one of the longest summer breaks I've had, you know, in the last 3 or 4 years. I've been used to just having, you know, 3 or 4 weeks. So to get over 5 weeks holiday was obviously nice. And yeah, just very happy, you know, now to be back. To get a full pre-season under my belt, and you know, obviously, as you can see, there's not too many of the first team guys here at the moment, so hopefully, you know, I can just be here now and get as fit as possible heading into the new season. No, not really, because it's everywhere. You know, when I'll be honest, you know, it was probably football-wise the most difficult thing I've ever had to deal with in terms of, you know, my own career. You know, I was absolutely heartbroken. And then obviously, you know, when you're on your holidays, whether, you know, wherever I was, every time, you know, you turn on the phone or turn on the TV or whatever, you know, you just see it. So it was hard to not to see, really. But, you know, for myself now moving forward, I have to just try and use that, you know, as motivation. Going into this season and, you know, try and have the same mentality as I had, you know, 2 years ago in my first season at City. I don't think I performed as well as I could have, and then in the second season, you know, I played, you know, in a lot of the games, and that was down to, you know, the first season that I had. I wanted to come back stronger, and I certainly did that. So hopefully, you know, I can do that again now. TNT.
Hi. I'm sorry to insist on that sore moment, but can you understand why you weren't named for the squad, and can you use those reasons to try to make a better season?
I can no, not really, because obviously, you know, myself, I felt like I should have been in the squad. I'm sure, you know, every person that didn't get picked in the squad, you know, whether that's myself or any of the other players, would have thought the same. You know, if I sit here and say that I don't feel like I should have been in the squad, you're going to be thinking, what's this guy's like, you know, what's he thinking? So, of course, you know, I thought I should have been in the squad. I felt like, you know, I offer something different to players in the England squad. But listen, it is what it is. Like I said, you know, it was, yeah, the hardest moment for me as a footballer. I've had a lot of ups and downs in my career, but yeah, it was difficult. But like I said, you know, I'm going to try and use that as motivation now going forward into this season, and yeah, hopefully I can, you know, yeah, prove some people wrong.
Jack, over here. How excited are you and the team to be playing Barcelona here in Florida tomorrow night in front of all the fans here tonight?
Yeah, no, I can't wait. You know, to play against Barcelona, you know, one of the biggest clubs in the world, you know, so they have, you know, great history. They have top players and, you know, a top manager. So for us, you know, that's what we want to do. You want to come to the beautiful places, you know, like this and play against the best teams. You know, even playing AC Milan the other night, it was incredible, you know. Again, another you know, brilliant club with great history. So that's what we want to do. You know, you want to play in these games, whether it be a friendly or not.
Hi, Jack. Have you had any conversations with Pep towards the end of last season, this summer, just about how to bounce back and move forward? Because I know he's been good to you in the past with support and things like that.
Yeah, of course. You know, I always speak to him. Obviously, you know, I'm not going to go into too much detail, you know, about what we speak about because that's between me and him. But yeah, you know, he's been so good for me in the 3 years that I've been at this club. You know, he always offers me good advice, and you know, there's not really many better people to take advice from. You know, Pep's, you know, is a master in this game, so to take advice from him, you know, is something that I always listen to. And yeah, listen, you know, I'm not stupid. I know what it takes for myself, you know, to bounce back this season, and I know, you know, how good of a player I am. I just need to, you know, just regain, you know, my fitness and my form, and then listen, I know what I can do personally then.
How do you think you've developed as a player since you joined the system?
A little bit. Obviously, I've changed, you know, from the way I was at Aston Villa. At Villa, you know, I had more freedom, and you know, you come to a club like this, you know, you're playing with world class players. I have to be careful what I'm saying, because sometimes my words get twisted. I'm not saying I didn't play with brilliant players at Villa. I did, you know, I had a brilliant manager there, but it's different because, you know, I feel like I had a lot more of the ball, for example, like me personally. Whereas here, you know, you have so many world-class players, you know, so you probably don't touch the ball, you know, as much. But I don't know. I'll let you guys decide how you think I've developed as a player. It's a difficult question for me.
Yeah. Hi, Jack. At the end of last season with City, you know, City obviously won a fourth straight time, but you didn't play much in those last few weeks. How was that for you? Sort of bittersweet, maybe?
Yeah, obviously, you know, it was a little bit difficult because I did have in the back of my mind that, you know, I need to be playing to get into the England team. A lot of players, you know, that were in my positions on the wings in the England team, you know, had really good seasons, you know, with their clubs. whereas, yeah, I weren't really playing as much. So in the back of my mind, I did think that I need to be playing, you know, to try and definitely be in the England squad. But even, you know, when I went there, I got obviously asked to come back, you know, early to go into the England camp, and then obviously I come on in the friendly, you know, and done well and stuff. So I did think that, yeah, I was going to go, but it's no bittersweet feeling towards the end of the season. The way City done, all I wanted to do was win another league title. You know, whether I obviously listen, of course I wanted to play, but if you would have said to me you're going to play and you might not win, or you're not going to play and you definitely win, then listen, I want to win. You know what I mean? Whatever's best for the team and to myself, you know, to win another Premier League. Yeah, it was just a dream come true.
Did you watch much of the Euros, or did you have to sort of shoot yourself off?
I watched. Yeah, no, I did watch it. But yeah, it's obviously difficult, you know, to watch. Obviously, because me personally, you know, I was so desperate to be there, and it was, yeah, obviously very difficult, yeah.
Did you say before, you know, what it takes to bounce back next year? What does that look like for you? What will it take for you?
I know it's easy to say, but I feel like, me personally, the same with a lot of people, you know, I feel like I'm best when I'm playing with confidence and playing regularly. When I'm at full fitness, you know, like I was at the end, well, in the second half of the season where we won the treble, you know, I felt so fit. I felt like I could just play, you know, every 2-3 days, and which I was really. You know, for the second half of that season, I played so many games, and yeah, just to be playing with that confidence, and you know, that team that we were playing in, it was just a dream for me to play in it. So this is my chance, you know, to get my fitness and, you know, to have a 2-week head start, you know, and try and be as fit as possible and playing with confidence. I feel like, you know, that's what I need, and, you know, fingers crossed I can do that now.
Is there anything that you personally felt you weren't doing last year on the back of the treble, or do you think it was just circumstantial that maybe you got a couple of injuries? Was that the main problem? Or do you think you could have done more yourself?
I'm not going to sit here, you know, and just make excuses. I feel like I still had, you know, some good games last season in certain points. But yeah, obviously, you know, I had my dead leg at the start of the season, which I know you're probably thinking dead leg, but it was the worst dead leg ever. You know, which kept me out, you know, for 4 or 5 weeks, and then I had my groin injury twice, which was difficult. But I also had, you know, not a lot, but some stuff that happened, you know, off the field. Sometimes, you know, people from the outside don't see. They just think that we just play football and we're these robots. But, you know, we do have a life off the field as well. And sometimes, you know, it's difficult to deal with that, you know. So, yeah, I had some stuff, you know, off the field as well, which was difficult at times. But listen, I think it's down to me at the end of the day. You know, I need to train well and prepare well, and then I know that I'll be at my best.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
That was Jack Grealish speaking in the press conference live ahead of the open training session taking place in Orlando this evening. Shortly, we'll be bringing you Pep Guardiola live, and then, of course, shots from that training session. So it's the first time we've heard from Jack, to be fair, since the Euro disappointment that he had. And obviously there, as you were watching, the press conference was dominated by questions about England. Fair enough, I get it, because we've not heard from Jack since then. But by the end of it, I was like, come on, somebody ask him something different. Right, the standout lines from it were, Steve, that essentially he was disappointed, he wanted to play, he was disappointed, which I think we kind of all... I don't feel like we learned anything there.
No, I think they were trying to just get into him a little bit, but he's... I think he's took it on the chin, you know what I mean? He went away, and then we've seen him working privately with fitness coaches and stuff, and he's got a point to prove now, you know what I mean? He's missed a big tournament, and I'm sure he was disappointed, and I'm sure he could have played better last season in certain games. He would admit that, but he was unlucky with injuries, and he did have a few off-field incidents, but there's no excuses from Jack now that the nation's looking at him. You know, he was dropped from a Euro squad. no better way to silence everyone to come back and put your form in for Manchester City, and he's come back early, and pre-season he's looked okay. So we're all rooting for him here at Manchester City, and you know, this season's the time, Jack, to prove everybody wrong.
I loved it when he said he wants to prove people wrong. Like, I love that mentality from him, and I'm really hoping that drives him this season.
I think who are those people? Who does he have to prove wrong? I think there's one in particular, the England manager, who didn't select him in that squad. I think that was the biggest one of all. Like he said, it hurt him. He didn't know what to do. It's a shock to the system, obviously, and I think he's took it well. He obviously went away, tried to put football aside for a little while. He's got things up and real positives in his family life going forward, and then ultimately he wants to come back and obviously try and convince the manager at Manchester City that he needs to play more minutes. He didn't play enough minutes. He's given you some reasons why it wasn't as good as it should have been. Could he also performed a little bit better when he had the chances and runs? Yes, he could. I think he'd be the first to say that, and that's football. He's very much a confidence player, Jack, and I think he wants people to like him. He's very infectious. He's very happy. He's very, you know, he's one.
Usually, he wasn't in that press conference, bless him, was he?
But do you know, you look how many. All he wanted to do there is take a line from it, a criticism towards somebody else, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We could have asked him so many things that he's done so well. I think that's the other point, and we don't often get those now. But do you know, I think he's handled it really well. I think he was really balanced in his answers, and I think it was a maturity there. I think it was a good press conference, and he dealt with it well. And now he just wants to play football. He wants to get as many minutes, and he wants to try and obviously get in the side and play every single week.
Agreed. Hopefully they'll draw a line under that England now, and
yeah,
we can
still the next
move on to an exciting season ahead. Right, we're going to go back over to Orlando now, where Pep Guardiola is in the press conference live.
Quite keen to put the summer behind him and look forward. How do you think he's done this summer, and what are you looking for from Jack this season?
Any complaints? Completely the opposite. His body language and his behavior and the way he's training is what the Jack we knew, and like I said in the previous conference, the right moment, he'll be back at his best because we need him.
Have you spoken to him about not making the England squad?
No. There are situations that is not necessary to talk about. So we are adults enough to know exactly the situation, disappointment. So hopefully it can be, you know, a spark to, you know, to move forward. So sometimes you need something to ignite yourself to be better.
Stephen Gray, please. Yes, please. Sorry. Should we do those at the end, if that's okay?
Do you know English? He's an English journalist. Do you know him? How you didn't recognize him?
Just so quick.
Over here, Pep. How excited are you and the team to be playing in Orlando tomorrow against Barcelona, and even practicing tonight in front of all those fans already out there?
Listen, it doesn't matter. It's a friendly game, an official game in Barcelona always. So for me personally, you know, for the club, for the team, is a game for the preparation. For me, it's have been, always will be so special. So I'm here thanks to Barcelona. Otherwise, I would not be here. So they gave me everything, absolutely everything. It's not words to be nice to Catalonia, my former club. It's just because it's the truth. So always I will be grateful what they give it to me in my formation as a person, as a football player, and after I was lucky, startable boy, and after be a manager. So what I am would not be possible without Barcelona give to me.
Martin?
You said the other day in a Spanish answer that you know that Kevin is definitely staying here next season. How do you know that? Did you speak to him, or is he still?
No, but the club informed me that didn't get any offer. So to leave, they have get an offer. So I don't know what's going to happen, but I would love, of course, he stays. So he's the eldest person, eldest player here. So he was here before I arrived. I'm the second oldest, but he's the, you know, and it's important. But whatever, you know, it would happen with David, for example, and other players. Like he won the, I would say, the credit to decide his future for his son, for himself. So what he has done for our club is massive. That's why he has to decide. So the info I have right now is just to stay.
He obviously came back after a very difficult injury last season, so are you expecting him to be back to his best this season?
Step by step, so hopefully all the players that arrive late can arrive in the right way. I would not like see them fatty. Hopefully they can arrive in the right spot, and after step by step. So it's 12-month competition, so it's every 3 days game. So we have to be calm and no injuries and step by step.
It's also you're going to see Lewandowski again. We all remember your reaction of those 5 goals, but obviously you shared so many nice moments together. What are your memories of working with him?
Well, I never see something like that. 5 goals in 9 minutes, so looks like impossible because the time in between goals you have to make restart again. It looks impossible, but it happened. So it was an incredible pleasure for an incredible professional, this top striker. When he gets balls in the box, he's almost unstoppable because these guys have an incredible sense of the goal. Like it's the most difficult thing to do in football, and hopefully they can do a good season.
Jack?
You said after the match the other night that there were 4 or 5 interesting players that might help you out this year. Wondering who they might be.
Oh, it would not be good to tell them. Otherwise, the young generations, they believe something that still they are not. So, of course, they are always, the academy had created good players, but still they are so young. They have, 3 or 4 or 5 players that can train with us and develop, and just in case we need them, so can help us.
Sorry to talk about potential outgoings again, but Joleon has been talking today at the Olympics, saying he's got a decision to make on his future, and he's saying that he didn't feel as if he started enough for the important game last year, which sort of, I guess is his opinion. If you got an offer and he was to go and someone came in with the right money, do you think he definitely would need to be replaced? Because I know you said that you might not sign anyone.
Well, I don't think about replace, but I knew that they said that he's going to think about it. When he finished to think about it, so his agent is going to call Chiqui. You're going to see what happened. So I know he want to play in important moments, but the other ones too. They have 18, 19 players as well that they want to play the important games. So I read that he has to think about it. Okay, think about it. And after that, he will inform us what we want to do.
I don't think there was a player that played in more games than Alvarez last season. I think he had the most appearances.
Yeah, play a lot. Yeah, he want more, it's fine. So that's why, think about it. And when think about it, he will inform us.
One more in English? No? Take some in Spanish, please, just at the back in red. Yes, please. Yes, please.
Hola.
Volia preguntar primer per què suposa per tu jugar contra el Barça, has dit abans que era un partit especial, i preguntar-te també per Flick, el coneixes bé com a entrenador, com a persona també, què creus que li podrà aportar Flick amb aquest Barça, amb gent tan jove?
Espero el millor. Com a pare soc soci, per tant tinc dret a opinar. Espero el millor. Crec que és una persona excepcional, com a entrenador ja ho ha demostrat. Potser és l'únic equip que ha dominat realment de dalt a baix Europa. Aquell any va ser extraordinari que va fer amb el Bayern, i qüestió de donar-li el que no tenim els entrenadors, que és qüestió de temps i mica en mica, però és una persona excepcional i es mereix tot el millor, i li desitjo de tot cor que li vagi, com sempre he desitjat a tots els entrenadors que han estat al Barça abans i després de mi, per exemple, doncs que els hi vagi del tot bé. A mi, si al Barça li funciona i li va bé, estic contentíssim.
Great, please. Yes, please.
Sí, Pep, hola, bona tarda. Jo puc ir al Mundo Deportivo. Voldria preguntar-li quins jugadors del Barcelona actual li agradaria tenir a vostè al Manchester City, amb vostè.
No es poden comprar, no estan en venda. president m'ho va dir, que no estan en venda. Són massa bons. I no ho faig amb ironia, ho penso seriosament. No, fora conyes, n'hi ha molts. El Barça i el Madrid sempre... Els grans equips sempre tenen jugadors molt interessants, però aquests clubs no deixen marxar els bons i fan bé. Per tant... I d'altra banda, nosaltres tenim una plantilla ja molt feta, molt àmplia, i que per tant no ho hem pensat. I si mai passés, no tinc cap dubte que el Xiqui o jo mateix trucaríem al president, al director esportiu, i ho faríem. D'altra banda, sempre en fitxem jugadors del City cap al Barça, que del Barça cap al City. No? Ok.
Què tal, Pep? Bona tarda. Laia Coll, en directe al Tu diràs de RAC1, parlant precisament d'aquests jugadors joves. Ara hi ha molta il·lusió al Barça amb el Lamine Yamal, el Pau Covarsí, jugadors que s'han fet a la casa, jugadors de la Masia. Tu quin rol creus que han de jugar tots aquests jugadors en el nou Barça defensiu?
El que es mereixen els entrenaments en el partit i la decisió de l'entrenador, del Hansi. És tan simple com això. Però és la demostració una altra vegada que de fa molts anys que la joia i la corona, que és la pedrera, sempre no falla mai. Sempre havíem pensat que havien de començar i ser recolzats per la gent de més experiència, que sempre ha sigut així. Sempre passava així, però noi, aquesta generació no sé què els han donat els seus pares i les seves mares, però no necessiten d'acompanyament, per si sols es valen. I és veritat que hi ha una generació ara amb en Pau Covarsí, amb en Lamine, amb el Gavi, amb el Pedri, amb molts altres, de que sempre és el Balde i molts altres que em deixo, sempre que han sortit han complert, i això és una garantia perquè dona molta estabilitat econòmica al club, identificació amb la gent, i si sempre ha funcionat així, ens hem acompanyat amb els millors jugadors estrangers que el Barça ha pogut firmar, sempre ha sigut la base de com ha funcionat, i celebro que la pedrera segueixi formant tants bons jugadors pel club i ens segueixin traient, perquè hi ha una sensació de que coneixen el club, coneixen la forma, la pressió la dominen molt bé i és molt sostenible econòmicament pel club, per tant està molt bé que així sigui.
That was Pep Guardiola speaking live in Orlando, and I'm very sorry. It's a real life regret of mine that I've never learned to speak Spanish, neither to Big Steve or Brownie, so we're not exactly sure what he was asked there at the end. But of course, we heard the English questions that he was asked, and he was asked about Jack, he was asked about Kev, he was asked about Juleon Alvarez. We are getting some fairly juicy quotes from all of these press conferences. What was your standout kind of moment from that, Brownie?
I think it's one of those, when you start asking about players who play more minutes. He said, yeah, hopefully he's got a bit more of a spark, brings the better side of Jack's game, or an improved one that he can use a little bit more. Alvarez situation. But we've got to be careful on certain quotes. When we see a player said something, we'll get to the bottom of it over time, what he's actually said, what it means by it. And sometimes they are exaggerated. But what he said is if he doesn't want to be there, I think that's something that Pep's always said. If a player doesn't want to be there, we'll talk about it. We see if we can facilitate a move for you. And that happens along the way. Some good players, unfortunately, don't always settle at certain clubs. We all want to play all of the games. We want to play in the big games. And ultimately, like you say, he's got 19 or so players who want to all play in the same one, and you can't always do that. Yeah. And some players can't handle it, Steve. They say, well, do you know what, I need to go somewhere else. I want to know that I'm playing every single week, however big the game is. And that's what happens. It's hard, you are more adaptable now, especially at this football club, because of the amount of big games that come your way, and you have to be patient. But again, I think he's so comfortable, isn't he? He knows what's coming. He knows that they want sort of clicks and different quotes, and they're really, really good. And I think how they answer the questions, how they balance the support, you understand what's coming their way. But I thought you would have answered all the questions there at the end. I thought if you'd have done your prep, you'd have understood all the ones right at the end.
Understood Spanish?
Yeah, but I thought, you're ready, aren't you?
Mate, I regret it. I desperately want to learn Spanish. I need to. I should have done it a long time ago. We all should.
We were waiting for Ilkay Gundogan to get a little bit of a mention as well in the press, but it wasn't to be, really.
Well, he might have done in Spanish, but we just didn't understand it. I don't know about you, Steve, but I cannot wait for the transfer window to be closed. Pretty much every time at this time of the season, I'm just thinking, just get that transfer window closed, because I get sick of talking about usually it's Will Bernardo leave. Yeah. But this year it's been Will Edison leave, Will Kev leave, and now it's Will Juleon leave.
Yeah, I feel like we're still waiting for one big transfer to spark a bit of a movement in the market and a few, like a knock-on effect. he mentioned Joleon there, but Manchester City's policy, especially Pep, has always been relaxed. If a player's not happy for whatever reason, if they go and speak about it, they'll find a solution, like what Brownie said. Alvarez has played a lot of football for Manchester City. I think it's not the minutes that's bothering him. I feel like if he goes to any other club in Europe, he's the #1 striker because of what he's achieved and what he's winning in the game. But unfortunately, at Manchester City, we've got a squad that's heaped with quality, and he's just got to bide his time.
Do you think he can get that, though? Do you think he can be that person?
I don't think
plays because we've got to find a place for him.
Yeah, I think we're struggling to find a place for him. I think sometimes we pigeonhole him in positions, but I feel like a club somewhere, if he's made to be the #1, I think they could build a squad around him. I feel like with Erling here at the minute, he's never going to take that place. You know what I mean? But listen, I don't want him to leave. He's fantastic, but it's good to see your manager calm.
Is there anyone in particular that you would say is the one person? Do you not have those players there, but there'll be one there you really, really don't want to leave? Is the one that changes it? Or can the squad cope?
I mean, Kevin is Kevin.
It's tough, isn't it?
It's so tough. But it's Ederson as well, because what Ederson brings, Ortega's a fantastic goalkeeper, but I feel like Ederson is very, very underrated, and sometimes people don't notice his impact. So I wouldn't like to see Eddie go. I don't want to see any of them go, but I mean, it's tough now. I mean, you've got to look at Kevin's age. You've got to look at the kind of money that they're getting talked about from a business point of view. The club might think, can we turn it down? So, but the fans will go mad. It's Kevin De Bruyne, isn't it? You know, it's hard. So hard.
There's only 2 players that City have ever sold that I've been disappointed about. No, in modern era, Shaun Wright-Phillips, obviously, I'm still heartbroken when he went to Chelsea the first time. 2 players in the modern era, and that's Leroy Sané and Ilkay Gundogan. I think every other player that City have ever sold, I've been fine with.
Do you know what killed me when I was a kid? Tony Colton. Going to
I don't even remember that.
Tony Colton going to Man United. It broke my heart. I was still not got over that.
I can tell, Steve, you're like
I've seen him once, yeah, and I can't even talk to him. Can't talk to him. Can't forgive him for that. But
he'll be able to take it. He's quite a strong guy. I'll tell you.
Look how upset he still is, mate. Yeah.
Strong lad. It happens, doesn't it? Football. Certain things come your way. You know, there's speculation about good players all the time, and that's the point. Other football clubs are looking and saying, is there any way we can go and take one of these players?
What I don't think City get enough credit for, if you look at the players and the calibre of players we've lost over the years, how he somehow manages to bring other players in and then not be a drop-off. You see other teams lose players and they drop off a little bit, whether they drop out of the top 4 into the Europa or they don't quite challenge. We're constantly challenging and challenging and challenging. And it's just testament to Pep and the coaching staff.
I think if you look at the team behind the football side of it, the recruitment side, are already ahead in every position. They've got 2 or 3, they're nowhere to drop. And what they do, and a good conversation, is that this football club, different to others, when they need to react really, really quickly, they can, because of a decision. If it's late in the window, they have 2 or 3, and that's that group
Manu
of football.
Akanji is a perfect example of that.
Akanji is the perfect situation. They're ready to go. The stats were brought in. Said, "Hey, this is the play we think we can do," and it's straight away within the day. The decision's done. It's made. We have to go for it. And I think that's what's so important, that everybody's on the same page and things can be done so quickly. But you need the team behind you to obviously identify these players so quickly. And there'll be lists right throughout the football club, not just on the playing side, the coaching side. I don't even say it. The managers, every single word, it's got to be covered, hasn't it?
There will be a succession plan for everybody, and that's what makes me so calm about this club as well. And I know we mentioned in there, you know,
the Spanish-speaking presenter, I think, is being put in the analyst team as well.
How rude! How rude, Brownie! How rude! I will remember that.
Well, it's about 10-1 because you always get me.
I do. You got me back there. And to be fair, I know FG does speak Spanish, and I don't think Kel does, so I'm breathing silently calm here. But yeah, I just think there is always a plan with this club. Although it does still feel like there is an Ilkay Gundogan-shaped hole. And when we think that back to the treble-winning season and how important he was in that season, how are you feeling about the fact that we might see him? Because he is in the Barcelona squad. They travelled to America yesterday. He joined up with them yesterday. So I don't know if he will play in the team, but how are you feeling about seeing him, Steve, in a Barcelona shirt?
I remember last year when he went and we was in the studio and we played a little reel of his highlights and goals like that. It's like,
And there's one thing about that goal that Alistair Mann on commentary has not recovered from, because I'm sat next to him at Wembley. He's just going through the teams. He has a little look down just to do the check, and I've had to go nudge him and say, "That's how quick that's gone in." He's like, "What's happened?" Well, have another look on your monitor.
Wow.
I mean, it was amazing, wasn't it, when that happened? What a start!
And what a player for us, you know what I mean? What a guy, and he lifted that Champions League trophy for us and part of that treble-winning team, and he's a legend, and it's always difficult when players like that leave, but, you know...
Do you remember when he first come, people were saying, what does he do?
Yeah.
And so many times you had to sort of say, just watch the intelligence, the trust the manager had in him, and late goals, that way of...
He literally arrived on crutches.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because he was injured, but... Listen, he's been fantastic, and he's an absolute legend. I'd love to see him out there. I'd love to see him. I'm sure the City fans out there would love to see him, and the players would love to see him as well, I think.
I mean, I do hope that we get a few minutes from him on the pitch, you know, just so he gets the reaction from the City fans, because, of course, he left in the transfer window, so I feel like we never got a real chance to say goodbye to him as well.
I think it will happen, you know. I think he's going to get that at some point, isn't he? But I think more importantly as well is that the manager had a brilliant relationship with him.
Yeah.
So not only, which is strange, isn't it, that a current player is so friendly with the manager. How do you balance that? How do you get the respect from your teammates when it's a friend? That tells you the type of person he is, because generally they'll be like, well, I don't really want to talk to him. It's a different surrounding, but everybody really liked him, had a great respect for him. So yeah, I think it was a big miss, and it was one of those, wasn't it? You're waiting to see if he's going to leave, and then the inevitable happened.
Oh gosh, I'm still gutted about him and Leroy Sané, the two of them. But yes, we might get a chance to see Ilkay Gundogan tomorrow. So City take on Barcelona in our third pre-season friendly of this new season, and it is taking place at midnight UK time. You can get the game on City Plus, depending where you are in the world. The best idea is to get onto the website and to check the listing on there if you can get it on City Plus. If not, it'll tell you how you can watch it wherever you are in the world. But we will be here from about 10 to 11 tomorrow night. I will be joined by Nedum and by Izzy Christiansen as well. So very much looking forward to that big game against Barcelona. Of course, there's so many Manchester City connections with Barcelona, not to mention, of course, our Pep and all his connections. How do you think it's going to be for him whenever he plays against, you know, his old club?
I think he mentioned it in the press conference. He said without Barcelona, he wouldn't be sat where he is today. So obviously he's a legend at Barcelona. He's grew up there. I mean, you see the old pictures of him being like a ball boy with Terry Venables running around the pitch. So he's deeply ingrained in Barcelona history, and I think he's going to enjoy it. And it's good to see the young lads. They're going to go up against the Barcelona team, and yeah, I think it's just another game for him. Really, he'll relish it.
And do you think that he might? What's it like for him, for a club that, like Steve said, he's so ingrained with? Whenever City play them, we have a few times while he's been in charge.
Yeah, I think it's one of those. You know, when you always come up against your former team, it's always a strange feel. You want to do well. You always never want to be on the receiving end. But the special relationship that he had with his football club, that is totally different, because they will also, every supporter, I mean, thank you very much for what you brought to this football club, because what a team that he developed, the way, the style, the way they played, everything was incredible, and it's just got better and better. So you appreciate your journey, you appreciate the opportunity. He'll still know a lot of the directors, board, people all around the football club, and I'm looking forward to see some of them faces. But as you know, he'll still want to win. That's for certain in this game.
100%.
But I think he will still be a little bit relaxed, knowing that we're still at it's not everything, like we've talked about. Those young players getting those minutes and not risking a few of the older ones just for the sake of the result on this game.
Yeah, absolutely. And we saw a few pictures there from the live training session, which has just started. We will be going back over to PitchSide there to show you more of the training session very shortly. We saw shots there of Guardiola, of course, and Kovacic, who were back. Guardiola came on in the AC Milan game, but of course Kovacic didn't, so we might get to see them more in the Barcelona game as well. But any young players, Steve, that have been standing out for you on the two games so far?
I think we spoke about him before. I think Oscar. I mean, Nico O'Reilly's one I said to look out for. I feel like he's confident, he's a good player. I think he's going to grow and grow. I was impressed with the trialist that came on, the lad they got from Troyes, the Swedish winger. Amar Fateh, I think he was brave. He was going on the outside. He was tracking back. I think he looked like a kid that had been given a chance. So he thought, you know what, I'm taking it.
Bit of fast feet, wasn't there? Thinking as he shifted the ball.
And that's good to see because nobody expected it. But I think all them kids out there are going to get great experience. Maybe we'll see Andala this game. And I feel like Callum Doyle as well came in at the back. I feel like his passing was what surprised me in tight areas, or he wasn't scared to
games already,
thread
hasn't
it.
he? So
yeah, in the championship.
Really see how he gets on, how you can. It's just finding a gap. So the young players have got to be so patient. It must be so difficult when you've had a taste of first-team football. You get to come on these trips. You get to go and play some minutes, and all of a sudden you come back and you don't even make that sort of 20-man squad.
So hard.
Psychologically, it must be so tough, and I feel like that's something that these younger players at this football club, different to anywhere else, you could almost be not even in the training group from being involved, and that must be hard to take, to go back to play with the DS, etc. But they'll be loving every single minute of it. You talk about the younger players that you watch out for all throughout that bench. You know, you just look at the ones who are just gaining experience, being on these tours, and it'll be great experience.
I'm just smiling here. I'm just watching them playing like head tennis. It looks fun. This looks like a fun training game, Brownie.
Well, it's always one. It's just a little bit of keeping it up. Whoever drops it, there'll be a little forfeit. I think that's normal things.
Like what? Like what?
Well, the forfeits can be everything. I mean, we've seen the ones a lot of them at the moment that you'll see a lot is the little boxes where whoever gets caught so much, you flick the rear or two-touch keeping it up. It can hurt that, you know. Everyone has to come round and flick you on the ear. You might be a little run. It's also one of those now, is like it's your personal pride. You don't want to be the one that drops it for your team. So that just be, they're just these little drills.
Oh, so who gets the forfeit there? The guy that headed it or Haaland for not getting to it?
Well, that depends on it, whoever it is, but it'd be hard to argue with a big man, won't it?
Looks like Haaland got away with that.
Yeah. I was looking to wait to see if someone was going to flick his ear. I love this though. I love these open training shots because obviously, as fans, Brownie, we never get to see things like this apart from on these special occasions. Get to see what they're doing.
I think that
hey, he kicked it. Is he allowed to kick it?
Well, it's you've got to keep it going, haven't you? I think that's the point. I think what's also when you notice when you see some of these groups that the senior players seem to stick together in their little group. But also, it's important that you try and say, "Come on, bring one or two of the younger ones in. Try and get them in your group." But it's no, it is really good. What for me is the detail when you start to see Pep stand in the middle when the session develops. So the next phase, the pass and drills come out. Then you go into a small possession. Then you might do a little bit of shape, a bit of structure. Then you hear the manager's voice. So these are just the early ones with the strength and conditioning coaches.
Calvin Phillips got the full round there. Did you see that?
Well, he's cruising, isn't he?
Yes.
Round, isn't he, Calvin? But no, it's great, isn't it? These are just the little drills. It's just normal things. But you won't. At this point, I'm still waiting for Pep to give us the change, that bit of detail that he's going to do different with squads, and that's.
I think it's going to be with the wingers, mate.
Soon see.
I've got a feeling like we talked about before the show about the. Keeping control and coming inside. I feel like he's got the option with Doku and Savio, especially now, to maybe go on the outside.
You've got something, secret info there. Do you know something we don't about?
Big Steve knows everything.
Players, yeah.
He knows well more than we do, Brownie.
There's a few staff as well, isn't they? Must be enjoying the trip.
They're having a lovely time. I think FG's having a lovely time right now. I don't know where he is. Hopefully we'll get over to FG, Shaun, Wright and Joleon very shortly. Hey, there's the Greek in the background, our wonderful videographer. Look at the staff there having a wonderful time.
Relaxing.
They're working very, very hard, I'm sure, working very, very hard. So we're seeing, again, I'm loving the little shots of them. They're all doing it in different groups, this sort of head tennisy thing. So we mentioned Nico O'Reilly, we mentioned Micah Hamilton, James McAtee, obviously we mentioned Oscar Bob already. You gave us a couple of other names there, but between the two of you, anybody else we should be watching out for that we maybe haven't been focusing on yet?
I think it's too early to state because for me, it's what gap's going to develop. That's ultimately, I think we've seen different players. I think we'll just watch Rico Lewis the other night. Do you know when he played on that left-hand side, didn't really work. He found himself in some recovery positions, central, and Pep moved him to the right-hand side. So I think at this stage now is it's just whatever minutes they can get and what in any areas to gain some sort of experience. But the talent right throughout now, either down, but It's just amazing, isn't it?
Oh, look at Pep in the background.
What we've seen-
Smiling. Oh, we lost Pep.
What we've
Oh,
seen
no, he's still there.
last training session as well, when Pep does get involved, he was pulling a couple of the young lads to one side and giving them a few pointers and talking to them, and it was good to see. And like you say, they look like it's been a great trip, and the results, you know, haven't won, but I think what they've gained and the experience, and like you say, just being around the first team players is invaluable.
There's some footballers' sons there as well, isn't there? Joe in the squad, Heskey, Jaden Heskey,
yeah.
if I'm right. There's someone. Who's the other one? There's one others as well. But that's what I'm saying. They've got that in their family, in their blood.
Yeah.
J. Lloyd Samuel.
Yeah, Lakeel.
Yeah.
Lakeel, yes.
Yeah. So they'll be looking to get better and
There's
better.
Jack. And hey, Calvin looks happy. That's nice to see. And there's our Georgia behind getting some clips for social media.
Yeah.
I mean, that's an interesting point, isn't it? Calvin Phillips with a smile on his face in the training sessions. He ultimately be sat thinking, what's going to be his role this season?
That's Jaden, right?
Yeah, pretty much knows. Yeah, he's growing all the time, isn't he? I played with when he talk about players, so they play with Emil Heskey. What a player! What a player Emil was. So if his son can be anywhere like him, but going back to Calvin Phillips, is he'll be lacking in a lot of confidence. He's gone on loan. He's had a bit of an injury. He's come back and he knows pretty much he's found it hard that the manager can't find an area for him.
What's this?
Was that the ear flicking?
That was the patting down, but it looks like the youngsters. The youngsters got a good patting there.
No, they need it. If they've lost, you can't imagine the seniors.
Is that what you think it was? Okay.
They bend the rules.
Okay.
So if there's a rule, the seniors will find a way to end towards the youngsters that they don't end up.
It was like a tunnel, and they were all getting slapped.
There's a lot of numbers as well, you know, for the sessions to actually, when you take this many people, it's actually harder to do certain sessions to get some quality in with the team shapes.
There's Calvin again, you were saying.
Yeah, Calvin, I mean, where's he going to end up? He will want to be in the best physical condition he can be in. He'll want to try and get minutes where he possibly can. Yeah. But where will he end up? We pretty much know that it looks likely that there will be a move away from the football club. But you never know. All of a sudden, you can do all right, you can play, there might be a slight injury, and then you're in. So football is so strange that it can change so quickly. And he'll be just hoping for a slot, finding a way if he can, because we've not seen the best of him, I think, since he's come to the football club. I've watched, he was a young boy when I met him at Leeds United. He was my boot boy, and I had a good relationship with him, and he's come right through. And it's just a shame we haven't seen. He started off with an injury, didn't he? And then it literally hasn't gone for him, and it wasn't a great move in the end to West Ham as well. So. So interesting pre-season, that's what you need. You just get the minutes in and see where it can take you.
Absolutely. Now we're going to head over live now to PitchSide because FG is joined by Joleon and Lescott. Hey guys!
Move out the way, I want to see that side. Thank you.
Hello everybody, welcome to the Osceola Heritage Park. I'm joined by an absolute legend who's looking drippy as ever. We're not talking about his drip today in the studio. Joleon, first things first, Orlando so far. You've had a great day today, haven't you?
Yeah, it's been eventful. Early start, but yeah, great day. Obviously got to go to the park earlier than pretty much everyone. I'm not sure the staff were grateful of that. We was there very, very early, but got to go on some exciting rides, so it was good fun.
Listen, take a look at this man's Instagram story because it is absolutely sensational, especially the stuff you got to Shaun as well. How much did he enjoy that?
Oh yeah, Shaun loves it. He's a Marvel guy, so yeah, he enjoyed it a lot. And he was able to go on a lot of rides. He must have grown in the last couple of years, so he was able to go on some rides today as well.
You know what? I was going to stay away from that joke, but I knew you couldn't resist.
It's a tap-in. That is a tap-in. Shaun's height and rides hand in hand.
I'm sure we'll review that tomorrow with Shaun when we get to see him at the game. We're preparing for the game against Barcelona. Pre-season so far, some really, really good performances by people. Players getting sharper, getting fitter. Game number 3 now in pre-season. Where will these players be at, do you think?
Again, be a mixed bag. Some up, some closer to where they want to be, some not so close. Again, and you don't expect them to be the final product just yet. 3 games in a week is a lot, to be honest, so you got to respect that. It's very, very humid. It feels like it's been dialed up a couple of notches to the previous 2 games, and we've only been here a day, so yeah, it's going to be tough, but again, it's about fitness, so I'm sure that as any player will tell you, it's money in the bank when it's all done.
Let me talk to you about the bucket hat real quick, because you're the only man who, when it's so humid, wears a bucket hat and never sweats. Is that like a hidden trait?
I don't know.
He's keeping them
To be fair, underneath this T-shirt, I've got like a little vest. I always use a vest as a little sponge, so the sweat patches never get through to the top drip.
This is a man who's been doing this for many, many years, as you can tell. And we just heard from Jack Grealish in the press conference, a player that City fans absolutely adore. He spoke about how tough his season was last year, and he's back. He's got a few extra weeks ahead of the game. Obviously, Euro 2024. He said it was one of the hardest moments in football for him. You know Jack really well.
Yeah.
How do you expect him to respond? Just
as we all hope he responds in terms to performances. Yes, I've been in a similar situation in 2010. I missed the World Cup, and it was really hard to take. And she said, once you've become a regular international player like Jack has been, to then miss a tournament is huge, and it will impact his motivation, his pride a little bit as well. So yeah, it would have been a tough summer. But having spoken to Jack after the record, he was still hoping, as an England fan and as a football fan, the outcome was a win in the Euros. But again, Jack, I'm sure he will use this as total motivation and won't let that happen again.
I mean, you can see the pictures of him on the screen there, just having loads of fun, and that's what Jack's all about as well.
Yeah, definitely, and I think that he's guilty of that sometimes. Jack is so relatable to so many people. I think it can be used against him in a lot of instances. But if we look at Jack as an ultimate professional and just a lover of the game, you can see that he always plays with a smile. So that is the one thing that is constant with Jack, and hopefully that continues.
I think from a fan's perspective as well, we've got Big Steve in the studio as well, and I'm pretty sure he will be feeling the same as I am. We've never had a bad encounter with Jack. We're all so desperate for him to do well. He spoke about how he had a dead leg in the first opening part of the season, then he had groin injuries, stuff happening off the field. We hope last season was just sort of a blip and he can learn from it, because he looks great, he looks sharp, and he's worked really hard over the summer.
Yeah, that's one thing Jack always does. He look great, to be honest. But in regards to the things that happen behind the scenes that, again, not many people would have been aware of, and people just underestimate the importance of them. There'll be family issues that he's gone through. I'm aware of that. Again, as a fan, you probably just look at it and think, we just need you to perform, and they do have an impact. So yes, it's not always as easy to forget things in regards to off-the-field incidences. So I'm sure going forward, the new news for Jack in regards to expecting a child, having been in that situation many a time, he'll definitely use that as motivation, and hopefully that gets the best out of him.
Yeah, we wish him well, of course, and we can't wait to see more of him in the game against Barcelona. Now, joining us here as well in Orlando is Man City esports creator Casey. Casey, how have you found life in Orlando so far?
I love it. I've been here a couple times before. I've been to Universal a few times with my family trips, but this is good. It's hot. It's very, very humid here, but it's fun.
Wow. It's warm. It's humid.
Can I just say I'm on to both of them, because they're now both wearing hats. So maybe wearing hats is what stops you from sweating. You're going to have to tell me these secrets.
Obviously, the reason there's a peak. It's keep the shade off your face, FG.
Yes.
And so that is common sense.
Yeah,
but obviously, common sense isn't that common.
And it's also quite common to see that they're both leaning down and I'm stood up, just so I look pretty tall. So I appreciate you both doing that. Right, Casey, let's talk about what you've been doing so far. You've been on the US tour in New York as well. You've been doing a lot of work with the esports. You can see some stuff over the socials. Rating Erling Haaland's next item with creators and stuff. How's it been so far?
Yeah, it's been good. The New York trip was really, really fun. We made a lot of content there. I played Tex a few times. Actually played really, really well. I don't know if you guys have played him, but I give him a very, very good game. Okay. But it's been a lot of fun. And I just love being here in Orlando as well, because I'm able to relax and also see the team play.
Now, you look pretty shocked when she said she'd played Tex there.
No, I'm not shocked that she played him. She's shocked that she did very well. Because Tex is obviously top. He's high level, so yeah. I wouldn't put myself up against him.
What was the score, Casey?
Well, here's the thing. I may have left out a few things. There were some forfeits involved. He had to wear some glasses. He could barely see the screen. But I did win. That's all that counts.
That's what matters.
So I did well, but he
couldn't see the screen.
Couldn't see.
He had to use one hand.
Hey, listen, she's beating a pro, probably the best pro in the world, so that's not too bad, is it?
Yeah,
a win's a win, Joleon. We take the wins.
I'd say in that, but would we we're not giving Celtic the win in pre-season, are we? So, you know what I mean? There you go. So there's restrictions. There's restrictions.
Yeah, there's restrictions, I guess, but we'll take it. From your perspective, I'm sure you'll take it. Let's quickly touch on Barcelona up next. It's going to be a great test. Who have you been most impressed with in the squad for pre-season so far?
I'll be honest, I think Oscar Bob has impressed me so much these last 2 games, especially in New York. I was sitting there, whoever I was sitting next to, I turned to him and was like, this is the best game I've ever seen him play. And I just think it's a great opportunity for these young players to come in here, shine, get the minutes, and I've just really enjoyed watching him play.
He's so humble, Joleon. I spoke to him today, and I don't think he actually realises how well he's done in the first 2 games, and it's all about the Nets game, and that is so important for a young player.
Yeah, he's definitely humble, but he also, in terms of realising, he would have expected that. He's obviously works hard at his craft. He's obviously a top player. We've seen him contribute last season in important moments. So him not getting carried away with pre-season is right. But again, he's probably not doing anything he didn't expect himself to do because he would have worked hard over the summer.
Let's talk about James McAtee with you both as well, and we've touched on him quite a lot. There's a lot of word about him, and rightly so, Casey. He's been brilliant, hasn't he?
He has. I think that these are the opportunities that he's being thrusted into, just getting thrown into the deep end. We saw him play last summer as well, but I think this summer we're seeing a different side to him. He's coming out a lot more confident, and I've really been enjoying every second that I've been seeing him play.
Now, Joleon, let's talk about Macca as well with what Casey said, because he said that he went away to Sheffield United, perhaps as a team, from a team perspective, it wasn't the easiest for him. He would have learned so much playing in the Premier League last year, wouldn't he?
Definitely, about the team, the league, himself. He would have been asked to do a variety of roles because, again, the season before that when he was there, he was playing in a similar position, but he's obviously offensive output would have been a lot higher, and then all of a sudden you go into the Premier League where you're not as dominant as a team, and the team would have struggled, but he contributed. I was there at a few games last season working, and they loved him. So that would have been a massive thing for him in regards to playing in front of the crowd as well. So yeah, there would have been a lot he learnt about himself and enjoyed. So hopefully now he's ready to make the step into our first team.
Now, of course, with Joleon here, Casey, I think it's only right we talk about our defenders, our centre-halves. Callum Doyle, Jamai's done really well in there as well. Who have you been most impressed with?
I don't know. I'll be honest. I've been very impressed with all of them because they're being thrown into this situation and they're not really sure what to expect. They're coming to a country where it's very different playing over here. The fans are different, the vibes are different, and they're having to rise to the occasion. Especially playing in a place like Yankee Stadium doesn't look like anything they've ever played in before. They're also coming here, and so I think that we didn't know what to expect from them, but I'm very impressed because these situations, like, they're never before seen, and they're really rising to the occasion.
Yeah, again, I echo that. I think they're learning a lot more about the game, about themselves, than they probably would have anticipated. I think as a young player, you go into the first team environment hoping you can emulate what you've done at your level in terms of the academy. But again, a couple of them I would have had moments where they probably look back and think, oh, that hasn't happened before, which is great because in terms of the stakes of the game, it's not that important, but in terms of the learning process for these guys, it's huge for them. So hopefully they're looking at the tape and not taking it as a friendly per se. They're realising this is a real opportunity for me to learn because the level of opponent they're facing is high level.
Yeah, high level indeed, and of course being around the players with Kovacic and Josko coming into the squad as well, that'll really help them as well, won't it, Joleon?
Definitely. Again, I think you can learn a lot about yourself playing with more experienced players, and that's probably been the most difficult thing, is that a lot of them have been thrusted into this environment having played with a lack of experience in this environment. So the more players, more first team players that can come back, it'll be easier, but it'll also be better for them to learn as well.
Well, there was absolutely high praise today. I was filming with a few of the players, and a lot of people were talking about how good Kovacic is, which is incredible. Casey, thank you so much for joining us here. Joleon, as ever, incredible. Let's head back to the studio, shall we? Are we going to be on the big screen today, do you reckon? Or
hey, FG,
let's have a take a look. Oh, we are on the big screen. Let's give them a wave, everyone.
Hey, FG.
How are you guys? How is everyone doing today? Have we got any drip checks for anyone?
Oh, wonderful. Looking great today, FG. I'm suspecting the reason you're not wearing a hat is because obviously you spent so much time doing your hair and you don't want to ruin it.
So basically, I'm the only one with my ears again. So basically what she said was, I'm looking the best.
That's a lie.
I don't know about that one.
But you're all looking great. So that's exactly what she said, yeah. Yeah, well, they all see you looking great too.
He's having a go with his hairstyle.
Right, well, it's great to see you all.
He's having a proper go.
Oh, yeah, FG's well stylish these days, yeah. Cheers, mate. See you soon. Bye. I feel like can somebody just pass the message to Joleon and Casey that was not true and that is not what I said, because he said that to Joleon the other day as well. I feel like Joleon's going to be thinking I hate him, and I don't. I love Joleon.
I think he knows, doesn't he?
Yes.
I think he knows FG's tried to take advantage of the situation.
FG, never. So thank you very much to FG, Joleon, Lescott, and to Casey, who are out there. PitchSide, we're going to be going back very, very shortly, where FG's trying to grab some special guests to join us as well. But the open training continues. I was loving seeing the shots of the fans there. We could kind of see them in the background, how many people have come out just to watch the open training. And every time the players are moving around the pitches, we're hearing massive roars. Now, you were talking about, Brownie, what you like to see when Pep starts to get involved. He's out.
So this is the team shape now. This is where it starts to have an understanding for tomorrow's game, the distances. So these boys, when they're in these type of sessions now, or possibly we're only 24 hours away from the game, this is maybe the actual starters that are really going to feature. Yeah. It's not definite, but this type of setup is where you've got to say, well, this is how you're going to. We're going to try and build up. This is how we're going to come out, or this is how we're going to have the shape out of possession. And just giving you some structure, but that is where Pep is incredible what he can deliver. So you see managers say, well, OK, our shape will be like this out of possession, but in possession, that's where he's unreal.
Yeah.
To teach an attacking style, to show you where the next steps are. So is that Rico Lewis just stepping in that full-back position? Have you got Kovacic and have you got Calvin Phillips in the midfield area just in front? Just creating little movements, little areas, little sort of runs, timings when you just step forward and when to step into different situations. So that I'd love to listen to the audio of that.
Oh, me too. You mentioned Rico Lewis there, and that made me remember. I wanted to ask you both. Big Steve, what did you make of Rico Lewis as a false nine?
He's literally playing everywhere, hasn't he? I mean, nobody knows where his best position is at the minute, but he just strikes me as one of them players that just enjoys football. So if Pep Guardiola says, sorry, mate, you're going to have to do a Kyle Walker and go in net, it's going to go in net, I think. Do you know what I mean?
He definitely would. That's so true.
I think he'll play anywhere, and every team's got one of them players, but Rico just looks like he's enjoying his football.
We might need him to grow a little bit if he's going to start putting the gloves on.
I still think he'd be good, you know.
He'll have some jump, won't he?
Sweeper keeper.
Definitely.
He's so athletic, he'll be able to jump. But so it's great because he's just got that intelligence.
Yeah.
So how do you take on all of these different shapes
Mad.
and setups for him able to adapt? And he's done so well for a young player.
Yeah, I loved seeing him in the team the other day. Like you say, the ability that he has to switch around positions, and all of a sudden when Alistair Mann said on commentary next to you, oh, it looks like Rico Lewis has moved up to the false nine, I was like, what's going on now? But that's the joy of pre-season. Love it, loving it. Right, we're going to go back over live now to the ever stylish and handsome FG. He's standing by with some Orlando City players. This is exciting. It's Hayley McCutcheon and Corey Dyke.
Wow, that was a sensational intro. Thank you very much. I'll take that all day. Yeah, I'm joined by Hayley and Corey from Orlando Pride. Let's talk about women's football then, shall we, in America. The growth of the game we've seen in the UK has been so good. I'll use Man City as an example. They've got the stadium sponsor, the Joy Stadium now. They're going on tour to Australia very soon. How is it here? How's everything going with the women's game here?
Yeah, I mean, it's great. We've seen Kansas City and having their own exclusive stadium for women, first in the world. And Orlando's not doing too bad either, so.
Oh, we're in first place right now, so can't complain. But yeah, I mean, the NWSL just continues to get better and better every year, so it's a really great time to be a part of women's football.
There seems to be a lot of players who are joining American football now. Do you think this is the league that's growing the most out of all of them?
I mean, it's definitely grown a lot, but I mean, it's awesome to see the growth across the world, honestly. Like, I just think the women's game, like in all parts of the world right now, is continuing to be on the rise, and that's what we love to see.
Yeah, we absolutely do love to see it. Let's have a word on today then. The facilities here in America, what we've noticed is every training place that we've got, there's so many fans everywhere. There's so many great places for people to watch the game. The vibe is really good about soccer in the US now, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I like to think so, and, you know, we've been about it all our life, but I think people are finally catching on, so it's fun.
Yeah, it definitely is fun. Let's hear a little bit about yourselves. If you can tell the people on Match Day Live what to expect when they watch you play. We'll start with you about your style of play.
Oh, me specifically?
Well,
our team?
Anyway.
Okay.
Team as well, yeah.
Well, so I'm originally from Colorado, and I played collegiate soccer at Penn State. I'm a very versatile player. This is my rookie year with the Pride, and I'm loving it, but really just willing to do whatever the team needs. Technical, competitive, yeah.
That was a really, really good answer, by the way.
Oh, very good. Yeah, I'm from Kansas City, and I went to college at University of Nebraska, and I'm just a physical midfielder. I like to run, win balls, and just play simple.
If you had to compare yourself with any players for the Man City women's team, who would it be, do you think?
Oh, I don't know.
What about in women's football as a whole? Is there anyone that you use as a sort of a player to look at? We've seen so many great midfielders, the likes of Patellas.
Kira Walsh is ridiculous.
So
Yeah,
good.
she's great. So as a 6, I definitely look to her.
She's amazing. I'm a Lindsay Horan fan, but I grew up with her, so she's kind of been a role model for me.
Oh wow! Do you
She's
still
from
keep in
Colorado.
contact with her, or?
Yeah, a little bit,
Really
but
cool.
yeah, I'm a big fan.
And what about Manchester City here in the US? Then we're here playing in Orlando. Firstly, Orlando is an amazing place. It seems like the vibe's incredible. The fans have turned out so much, and it's so big for our club to be here. But what about the people of Florida for a club like Man City to be here?
Yeah, I mean, you can see it, all the blue out here. I know we are very excited. Both of us are big City fans. And yeah, it's hot tonight, and they're still sitting out here seeing their favorite players. So,
will you both be coming to the game tomorrow against Barcelona? Or will you be tuning in?
I'll be tuning in. Won't be there, sadly, but I'll definitely be tuning in.
Who are you most excited to watch in tomorrow?
I mean, I love Jack, so
yeah.
He's fun to watch, and I'm always rooting for him. I know it was a tough year last year with injury, so yeah.
I'm going to go with Holland. Have to.
Two very good choices. Listen, they'll be watching the game on City Plus tomorrow. Remember, you guys can as well. Let's head back to the studio where the amazingly dressed Natalie is with some guests.
Look at FG and us being, we're just being nice to each other tonight, FG. What's going on?
I don't think this is going to last throughout the season, that, by the way, but we'll do it for pre-season and pre-season only. Big Steve's already there shaking his head. He's not happy at all.
It's making me feel a bit uncomfortable, to be honest, FG. Next time we come over to you, it won't be so nice. Thank you so much to FG and to the players there from Orlando City as well. How fantastic. I love seeing the kind of different variety and hearing from it was Hayley McCutcheon and Corey Dyke there. So still seeing those live training pictures, the team sort of moving around the pitch, giving the fans there that are watching plenty to look at. We're seeing a little bit of a mix-up here in the front there. Jack and Erling, James McAtee. Is that Oscar Bob in the middle as well? So we're seeing a bit of a mix-up. Is that Luke Mbete? It's hard to spot them. Is that Callum Doyle as well at the front? So, but they're getting called back in now. I guess they're having to take lots of drinks breaks, though, because
yeah, it will be really
hot out there.
They'll be sweating. But the thing is, just little 5v2s, little possession drills, keep balls. I mean, that looks so easy, but it's not. They just make it that easy. That's where technically these players and what Pep demands, the little areas. He likes these short passes that he talks about so much. But they create little drills, those little box areas. There's different ways and different rules that you can bring into it. But it looks like the rest of the players have just been doing a little bit of shape. We'll see how that develops, and we might get a little bit of a guide in a second what type of team that Pep's going to put out tomorrow, because it's heading that way, isn't it, with the shape. He might not show everything, but
it looked like he took a separate group away and he was working on something over there with them. I think Kovacic, Guardiola, Esbrand, O'Reilly and Phillips was there, so whether that's an indication of tomorrow, we don't know.
Loving seeing
Calvin Phillips play centre-back.
Ooh.
I don't know, maybe.
Well, you just look how the setup, we'll see. But we're getting snippets like everybody else, so we might get more of a guide shortly. But the young fans, obviously, getting so close to the players, I think that's what's really important as well, isn't it? That they get to experience it and then realise what the club's doing, how it's growing. So it's and I think the players are so good at taking that in. Do you know the amount of things that the players have had to do over there?
Yeah.
The smile on the face, to go and join in, they're going all around these different positions and got time for every fan, taking lots and lots of pictures. And the patience for these guys, imagine Haaland and Jack Grealish, the amount of the tension that they'll be getting, but they just deal with it so well.
Jack said something in his press conference I wanted to ask you about as well. He was talking about the dead leg, and he kind of laughed a little bit about the dead leg he had last season. He said, you guys might be laughing, but it was a really bad dead leg. Have you ever had a dead leg? Because I do laugh when I hear the sound of it. Could you tell it? What is it like?
Well, a dead leg is obviously maybe a knee to the side of... I'm guessing when it was his leg, I think it was higher up. But if it's at the side of the knee, for instance, it'll be really strong. It bleeds quite a lot, can bruise. And there's one player in particular that he's mentioned already today, that when we started, and the treatment-wise, obviously, you know how to deal with these. But it was actually Tony Colton, the goalkeeper, got a really bad dead leg, went out on the night, and then realised the swelling, and they had to cut the whole side of the leg to release the pressure.
Wow.
And he was hours away from really being in big trouble. So when Jack's saying about the dead leg, it's a bit of a joke where you get like a dead arm from a little, a little punch when you're maybe having a joke with somebody or whatever. But when you get a real serious one, it can be in towards the bone or in certain areas. The bleed's there for a long time. You can't get that range. You can't get that bend of leg. And it took him a while to get rid of it. But ultimately, he was getting a bit of stick because they do go, most of them, a little bit quicker, but they can be quite serious.
OK, all right, I like that. That was a good answer. Obviously, I've never suffered a dead leg, having not played professional sport, but now we can have a bit of sympathy.
I've possibly handed a few dead legs out.
He's definitely handed a few dead legs out, 100%.
Was that your speciality?
It's not too late, be careful.
100%. You don't want me landing on you, Brownie.
Still got it. Well, I'll be able to dodge it still.
I hope FG's listening now, hearing that as well, because the niceties have gone. FG, no messing around here in the studio, because if you are, Michael Brown is dishing out dead legs. We're going to go back over to FG and to Joleon Lescott pitchside.
Yeah, just a quick reminder that I'll never play a game of five-a-side with Michael Brown if he's handing out dead legs. Joleon.
To be fair, he joined in a few weeks ago, actually. There wasn't any dead legs.
Ooh!
Brownie.
Fighting talk. Fighting talk.
I don't do that. It's not dead legs. Joleon knows that.
There you go. Don't bite, Brownie. I don't even know what you say, but don't bite me.
I haven't bit. No, she said I was being nice. Tell him.
Nah, it's good fun.
Yeah, the rivalry is well and truly back between Orlando and the Matchday Live studio. Right, we're going to preview the game against Barcelona tomorrow. Of course, pre-season, we've seen a lot of goals in these pre-season matches, Joleon. Think it's going to stop tomorrow?
Hopefully not, because entertainment, obviously, at the stage of the season, you want it to be entertaining for the fans, especially in the States. That's what they're all about, is entertainment. And it probably more of an even keel tomorrow. I'm expecting their squad to be relatively young as well, inexperienced as ours is. So, yeah, hopefully it's just entertaining for the fans.
It just makes for such an interesting game every single time. We've seen so many aspects of the game. The game against Barcelona, you said it, they're going to have a depleted squad a bit as well. And this group of players here will be aware of that.
Probably, but probably not. Again, it's still Barcelona. You're still facing Barcelona as is teams facing Manchester City. They're not looking at it thinking it's depleted squad. They're thinking that it's a real opportunity to impress, whether you're playing against us or with us. So, again, it's just an exciting occasion for a lot of these young players. They'll still have some names there. Lewandowski, I don't know if he's in the squad, but again, he's a name that you want to face at any stage of your career, in any competition. So, yeah, I'm sure that the more experienced players in their squad, our players are looking forward to facing.
He is in the squad. What a test that is for our young defenders.
It's a huge test. Again, same as for their young defenders facing Erling. So, again, I know he had a tough time in the Euros due to injury, so I'm sure he's eager to get back to full fitness now. So, again, like I said, it's Barcelona at the end of the day. Whatever level you're facing, you know it's going to be a tough test. And like similar to ours, their DNA, the way they play, they'll all be comfortable doing it. So it'll be a tough test.
Yeah, it will be a tough test. So we'll see the screen there where he's actually there training, getting ready. I mean, for a young player, for you, Joleon, in your career when you were young, who was the toughest opponent that you had?
What, in like a pre-season friendly?
Again,
one of my first games was against Liverpool. I think my first debut pre-season game was against Liverpool. Again, I was 16, 17, and it was Michael Owen, Emil Heskey and Robbie Fowler. And again, that was like a real eye-opener to the level that these first-team experienced players play at. And there wasn't much communication, but the understanding of each other and the game, it just made me realise, wow, there's really is a top level.
How did that game go?
I think we lost. Well, we definitely lost. I think it was 2-0. I played half. But again, yeah, I was 16, nearly 17, so it was a great experience for me.
Well, great experience, and especially a really, really great experience for these. Let's talk about our attacking players then. We've seen so many good things. I want to talk about Micah Hamilton, because I saw a really, really good assist from him across with his so-called weaker foot. He looked confident, and he was willing to go at the fullback.
Yeah, that was the impressive thing. He wasn't discouraged to go on his so-called weaker side. He did that a few times, went down the outside, crossed it with his left foot, and again, he wasn't even necessarily, obviously the assist was great, but there was a couple of occasions when the outcome wasn't perfect, but the decision was right, and that's what you've got to give them credit for at this young stage. It's not necessarily the outcome of the pass or the shot, it's the decision to take that shot, to make that pass, and that was the right decision, to get to the byline, not to worry to check back, forced James McAtee to make that run, because he's in a dangerous position, and yeah, I spoke to Macca after that, and he was buzzing that he scored a header as well.
He was really, really happy, especially that it was a header. I want to talk about what Micah just did there. He stopped still, and then it's just the change of pace, and that's probably really, really difficult to defend against, isn't it?
No, definitely. Again, took it with his back foot, which means he's already in his stride, and as a defender, when you face someone like that, as soon as they are able to do that, it always is difficult to mark and to stop. And as I said, the defender probably thought he was doing the right thing, showing him down the line on his weak foot, but all of a sudden the ball goes into the box, and again, it's a goal. So again, it's a learning curve for all of them, but that will give him a huge amount of confidence.
Let's quickly touch on Nico Riley as well, a man who's shown that he's very versatile. He can play in numerous decisions. He'll be learning a hell of a lot in that midfield, and of course with players like Kovacic coming in, we expect him to get more minutes tomorrow, do you think?
Probably, possibly, and I hope so. Again, I think he probably learnt more about himself in the first game. I think he showed glimpses of what he's capable of and what he's been doing in the academy, but there was incidences where he probably got caught out physically and realised, it's not as easy as he may have thought. But again, he's still learning how to play with these players and when to take the extra touch, when to release it early. So again, he showed glimpses of what he's capable of, and now it's a case of putting halves together, and then all of a sudden you get to a half and you feel confident it's 90 minutes or 70 minutes and then 90 minutes.
Well, Joleon, it's been an absolute pleasure being here at the training. We're going to head downstairs and Joleon's going to teach me everything he knows about football like Shaun did last time. All right, we're going to go back to the studio now. Yeah, that game of five-a-side's not happening anytime soon with Brownie, is it?
No, Brownie's he's welcome. He's more than welcome. So.
Oh, I'm getting Big Steve on my side.
All right, what am I? Just the referee? Cheers, guys. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, you can referee. You're not invited. We're not doing that anymore. We're not friends anymore now.
Oh, my God. I take back the handsome, nice hair comments again. Get a hat on, FG. Thanks, guys. We'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow. Thank you.
Bye. We'll be joined by FG, Shaun Wright-Phillips and Joleon Lescott again tomorrow before the game against Barcelona. So it is taking place. It is a midnight kickoff here in the UK. It's available on City Plus. Get onto the website there and see where it's available in your country, wherever you are around the world. But certainly if you're in the UK, you get to watch the game in full on City Plus. And of course, as always, we will be here for about an hour before the game. It's about 10 to 11 UK time. Again, I'm joined by Ned Manua and by Izzy Christiansen as well. So Barcelona is the big game tomorrow. I'm very excited. So I was reading up about Barcelona today. They flew to America yesterday, had 2 training sessions yesterday. They have been training back in Spain for a couple of weeks, but so far they've only had one behind closed doors friendly. That was against a League 4 team in Spain. So it was very much behind closed doors. It was a 1-0 win for them. So tomorrow is going to be their first proper game of this pre-season. Of course, like everybody else, the Spanish players that were in the final, that won the Euro, are not in the squad. They have taken a squad of 31 there, and yesterday Ilkay Gundogan and Rafinha joined up with the squad after their summer playings as well. So Barcelona's first pre-season game, proper pre-season game tomorrow. Steve, obviously when we played AC Milan, they'd had 1 before. When we played Celtic, they'd had 3 or 4. So we are coming into this perhaps with a little bit of an edge on Barcelona, despite the fact that they probably still have more players than us.
Yeah, we've seen it in the Celtic game. Celtic had more games, so they were a little bit further ahead in the preparation than us. We've had a few games now. These young lads are getting a taste of it, and it'd be interesting to see tomorrow what level Barcelona are at. But it's Barcelona at the end of the day. The quality players, a quality team. They play some great football. Just seeing Ilkay there as well. But no, it'd be great to see him. We've seen a bit of the training session. Me and Brownie were trying to weigh up if we could work out what's going to happen, but
they'll be used to keeping the ball. The heat's not going to affect them so much, so I think they'll just... It depends as well what availability you have, how many you can put in, how many seniors, what stage they're at. It's so difficult to actually get any sort of guidance on what type of game we're going to expect. We've got 2 giants, we know that, with some wonderful players, but... as well, the manager as well might only say, well, we're only at this particular level, we're going to change everybody. We sometimes see them play half each. When you say 31-man squad, you could see a complete different change at half-time, so that could change everything.
We're seeing shots there. There's Lewandowski there in the background. Interesting. I mean, a difficult season for Barcelona last year. By their very high standards that they've set themselves, they didn't win anything last year. There was no silverware that came back to Barcelona last year. I read an interview that Lewandowski had done recently where he said that he hopes to step up more, him and the team to step up more this season. I don't know how a man that's had the career of Lewandowski can step up more, Steve, but I'm hoping he doesn't start tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, I think him and Pep Pep had him at Bayern Munich, didn't he, I think?
He's incredible. I think it's what they demand. He will demand that from his team. He said, we've got to step up.
Yeah.
He's a winner. He's been used to winning all his career. Do you know? I think that's the point. I think you need those characters. Yes, things haven't gone their way so much as would have liked it, and the routine that you're generally used to, but you will expect an improvement when you this.
Yeah, the fans need a reaction. Obviously, Real Madrid was the dominant team over there. They won the Champions League again, so that wouldn't have gone down well in Barca. Yeah, they've got to get back up there, and it's going to be good to see some of the Barcelona youngsters as well. Some of their promising players get minutes, so it's going to be a real good test, and I'm excited for the game.
Yeah, absolutely. My son will be looking forward to seeing Lewandowski. He's 6 and he's just into all of the big name players and all of the players that score goals. And my goodness, that man has scored some serious goals as well in his career. How, in terms of the competitiveness levels tomorrow, obviously it's still a pre-season, with it being Barcelona's kind of first one, what are you expecting?
Well, I think they'll still want to win. They'll still want to go out and try and set the tone. I think that's just normal practice from any professional now, that that's the standard you set. You want to win, you want to train well, you want to get off to a good start. I think what I would say is you're a little bit cautious the first 1 or 2 games, regards to not overstretching, to keep it quite safe, to do the right things, just get a feel for it. And it doesn't just come back straight away. You know, even as that small gap now, we're getting less and less time in your summer break, but it doesn't come back as quickly as you would expect. And it's just a feel, a timing. I think what you would say is that both of these teams are comfortable with the ball. So they can set the tone, they can set the pace. We might say a slower tempo at times, then using the pace in the right areas. You'd expect that sort of approach from both teams.
Hey, thank you so much, Brownie. Thank you very much.
Thank
you. It's been
you.
a pleasure. Big Steve, thank you as always. I will see you again for our PitchSide show before Chelsea, I think.
Yes, you will.
Oh, we see you again. I mean, you're
I think
everywhere.
it's going to be the Community Shield.
You having a holiday now, are you?
I might go on holiday in the next 10 minutes or so when we finish. So might go and have a week or so before that certain game.
Why
not? Well, have
Manchester
a deserved
United.
break, because I expect you'll be working non-stop again
We've got
in the
a
season.
few booked in. So looking forward to them. Yeah.
Enjoy your break. I'll see you on Friday,
You will.
Steve, as well. Thank you so much.
you.
Thank you all for joining us on PitchSide Live this evening. So again, don't forget, it's tomorrow midnight UK time, available in the UK on City Plus, but check the City website for wherever you are in the world. Thank you to FG. I think so, actually. I don't know. Should we say thank you to FG and to Joleon, Lescott, to Casey, and to the Orlando City players as well. Just before we finish tonight, another exciting part of our pre-season tour here in the US is OKX's Unseen City Collectible Quest. OKX are giving you the chance to win some amazing prizes by exploring Orlando, heading to 4 different locations, collecting 4 different digital collectibles. And if you collect all 4, you'll be in with a chance to win some really amazing special prizes, including a master collectible and a signed shirt. So let's have a little look at that now, and we'll see you again tomorrow.
Welcome to Orlando. Let's get searching.
Listen, it doesn't matter. It's a friendly game, an official game. Barcelona always. So for me personally, you know, for the club, for the team, is a game for the preparation. For me, it's had been, always will be so special. So I'm here thanks to Barcelona. Otherwise, I would not be here. So they gave me everything, absolutely everything.